My sister fired me the very first day she became CEO of our family business. She looked me dead in the eye during a board meeting I had helped organize, smiled that cold little smile of hers, and said, "Your services are no longer required. Clear your office by tomorrow." Everyone at that long polished table stared at me, waiting for me to break down or argue. But I didn't. I just nodded, leaned back in my chair, and forced a laugh that even surprised me. Because while she thought she had won, I already knew how this story would end. Imagine dedicating your entire life to building something alongside your family, only to have your own sibling toss you aside like yesterday's trash. That kind of betrayal doesn't just sting, it burns. And if you've ever been underestimated or cast aside by someone you trusted, you'll understand the fire that started in me that day. Before I get into how I turned that humiliation into the sweetest revenge of my life, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Because this one is going to feel good. Our family business wasn't a small-time operation. My grandfather had started it decades ago, and my father expanded it until it became a respected player in the market. By the time my sister and I were old enough to get involved, it was worth millions. But here's the difference: I put in the sweat. I worked late nights, I ran the tedious meetings, I dealt with angry clients, and I patched up disasters. She, on the other hand, played the part of the glamorous heir, always showing up just in time for the pictures, always talking about vision but never lifting a finger to make it real. Still, when Dad decided to retire and step back, I thought maybe we'd share responsibilities. Instead, thanks to her endless charm and manipulative tactics, she convinced the board to crown her CEO. I wasn't furious about that. Honestly, I thought I could still work with her. But on her very first day, she made it clear I wasn't part of her plan. The way she fired me, publicly, smugly, like I was nothing, ignited something I didn't even know I had in me. I went home that night replaying every single second of that meeting. Her smirk, the board member's silence, my own calm nod. My hands were trembling, not from fear, but from the sheer need to prove her wrong. I couldn't sleep. I kept asking myself, how could someone who contributed so little, who relied on me for everything, decide she didn't need me? That's when I realized, she hadn't gotten rid of me. She had freed me. And I was going to use that freedom to take everything back. The next morning, while she thought I'd be packing up my office, I was making calls. Contacts I had cultivated over years of loyalty and hard work were more than willing to listen. They trusted me, not her. They knew who had really kept the business alive. And while she was celebrating her little power grab, I was quietly laying the foundation for something she never saw coming. You see, when you run a company, relationships matter more than titles. And I had relationships. Vendors, clients, even key employees, they respected me. So I started pulling them in, one by one. Not aggressively, not with bitterness, but with quiet confidence. I told them the truth: the company was about to be run into the ground by someone who valued ego over substance. And then I gave them a choice. Stay under her rule and watch everything crumble, or join me in something new, something better. Weeks went by, and she must have thought I was sulking at home, defeated. She even sent me a smug little text once: "Hope you're enjoying your time off. Business has never been better." I laughed so hard I nearly choked. Because by then, I had already signed the lease on a new office. I had a team of loyal people ready to move. And the cherry on top: some of our biggest clients had quietly agreed to bring their accounts to me the moment I launched. The day I finally revealed my move is burned into my memory. She had called a board meeting to brag about her so-called growth numbers. I walked into that very same room she had once thrown me out of, but this time, I wasn't empty-handed. I laid down a stack of signed contracts from clients she thought were hers forever. I announced that I had started my own firm, and effective immediately, those clients, and the revenue they represented, were mine. Her face drained of color. She stammered, tried to laugh it off, then turned to the board for support. But they weren't smiling. They were shifting in their seats, whispering to one another, realizing what this meant. The golden child they had bet on had just been exposed as nothing but a fraud propped up by my years of effort. The silence in that room was sweeter than any applause. I didn't need to shout, I didn't need to gloat. I just gathered my papers, smiled, and said, "Good luck running the company without me. You'll need it." Then I walked out, leaving her scrambling, humiliated in front of the very people she had used to kick me aside. Within months, her empire started to collapse. Without my connections, her deals fell through. Without my dedication, her projects lagged. Employees she thought were loyal began slipping away, many straight into my office. And me, I was thriving. Every time my phone rang with another client ready to jump ship, I felt a rush of satisfaction. Not just because I was succeeding, but because I knew she was finally realizing the truth, she had never been the brains or the backbone. That had always been me. There's something deeply satisfying about revenge that doesn't require shouting or fighting. Just patience. Just letting someone's arrogance set the trap, and then calmly watching them walk right into it. My sister thought firing me would destroy me. Instead, it freed me to build something greater, while she watched everything she thought she owned slip through her fingers. So if you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, remember this: you don't always need to fight back in anger. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is success. Because nothing stings more than watching the person you dismissed rise higher than you ever imagined. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this. Because sometimes, karma just needs a little push.